Hello students, today we will learn about elements of weather and climate. The difference between weather and climate is summarized by the popular phrase, climate is what you expect, weather is what you get. Weather simply means the state of atmosphere at a particular place over a short period of time. It is a short-term variation of the atmosphere in terms of temperature, pressure, wind, moisture, cloudiness, precipitation, and visibility. It is constantly changing, sometimes from hour to hour and at time from day to day. Climate, on the other hand, refers to the average weather condition over a period of time, often 30 years or above. Climate also includes statistics other than the average, such as the magnitude of day-to-day or year-to-year variation. There are many elements that make up both weather and climate of an area. Some of the significant elements of weather and climate are temperature, solar radiation, atmospheric pressure, wind, ocean currents, humidity, and precipitation. The various elements are given. The most important factor which control weather and climate can be referred to as latitude. Latitude of an area directly affects both temperature, solar radiation, and distribution of global pressure and wind belt. Most climates are also named after latitude, like a tropical rainforest or equatorial climate, tropical savanna climate, subtropical arid or mid-altitude desert, polar climate, etc. Let's analyze one by one. Solar radiation. Solar radiation is probably the most important element of climate. About 99.9% of the energy on the earth comes from solar energy. The solar radiation controls temperature and other factors. Solar radiation first and foremost heat the earth's surface, which in turn determines the temperature of the air above. The amount of energy reaching the earth's surface is known as insolation, which is a contraction of word incoming solar radiation. It is also known as shortwave radiation. These rays on reaching Earth are converted after absorption by Earth into long-wave radiant energy. Earth always maintains a balance between the incoming solar radiation or insolation and outgoing terrestrial radiation or long-wave radiation, which is known as the planetary heat budget. The important factors are angle of incident ray, duration of sunshine, value of solar constant, energy output, distance between Earth and the Sun, thickness of atmosphere, transparency of atmosphere, and eccentricity of Earth's orbit. Next, temperature. Though solar radiation is the main source of heat and temperature of an area, temperature itself is a very important factor in determining the weather and climate of an area. Temperature refers to intensity or degree of hotness or coldness of an area. The temperature of any substance is the degree of intensity of the heat available in the body. Temperature controls other elements of weather and climate, such as precipitation, humidity, clouds, and atmospheric pressure, etc. The temperature of an area, on the other hand, is controlled by various factors: latitude, altitude, distribution pattern of land and water, ocean current, prevailing wind, cloudiness, length of day, relief, vegetation cover, slope aspect, etc. Next is atmospheric pressure and wind. Air pressure is the weight of air resting on the Earth's surface. The atmospheric pressure is defined as the force exerted per unit area by the weight of air above the surface of the Earth's atmosphere. It varies from place to place and from time to time over the same geographical region. Variations can also be observed in atmospheric pressure on the basis of time, diurnal, and seasonal changes. The change in pressure per unit distance between two places along a line is referred to as atmospheric pressure gradient. Atmospheric pressure is controlled by two factors, with thermal factor and dynamic factor. Wind or advection is defined as horizontal movement of air along surface of earth, which is caused by difference in atmospheric pressure. Difference in air pressure creates pressure gradient, which in turn makes the air move from high pressure to low pressure. The intensity of pressure gradient is dependent upon intensity of pressure difference. Similarly, greater the pressure gradient, greater is the wind, and lesser the pressure gradient, lesser is the wind velocity. Wind is also one of the most important factors of weather and climate. It plays an important role in distribution of heat over the earth. Maximum amount of incoming solar radiation on earth is received in and around equator, while the polar regions receive minimum amount. If we compare outgoing radiation, the equatorial region has surplus amount of heat energy, comparing the incoming solar radiation and outgoing solar radiation. Similarly, polar region has a negative heat balance between incoming and outgoing solar radiation. This excess amount of heat energy from equatorial region is transported to polar region and vice versa. The differential heating and cooling gives rise to various meridional cells and pressure belt. Wind and meridional cells help the earth to maintain the temperature, that is surplus and deficit region, which leads to a balance between incoming and outgoing solar radiation. Various wind like planetary, seasonal, as well as variable wind affect weather and climate of a region. Some of the climatic classifications are also named after wind, like tropical monsoon climate, where monsoon refers to reversal of wind system. Wind on the earth are controlled by various factors like horizontal pressure difference, Coriolis effect, temperature, surface friction, and dynamic factor. Next is ocean current. Ocean current is the general movement of a mass of water in a fairly defined direction. The unequal heating of earth surface and the movement of water masses along the surface by wind are responsible for development of currents. It is also one of the major elements of weather and climate. Those climates bordering cold current tend to be drier, as the cold ocean water helps stabilize the air and do not favor cloud formation and precipitation. Air traveling over cold currents lose energy to the water and thus moderate the temperature nearby coastal locations. For example, places along same latitude in northern Atlantic have different climate and weather condition due to influence of ocean currents. Ocean current is primarily affected by global movement of wind, Coriolis effect, shape of coastline, temperature and density difference, geostrophic influences, upwelling, configuration of ocean floor, etc. Next, humidity and precipitation. Humidity and precipitation directly controls weather and climate of a region. Humidity refers to the amount of water vapor present in the air. There are different ways of measuring humidity, namely absolute humidity, relative humidity, speculative humidity, etc. Humidity is in fact one of the most efficient absorber of heat in the atmosphere. Hence, areas with high humidity tends to have milder climate in comparison to other areas. Humidity depends on many factors like nearness to sea, vegetation cover, temperature, season, etc. Precipitation refers to falling out of snow, drizzle, rain, hail, sleet, etc. from sky. Weather and climate changes according to amount of precipitation received in an area. It depends on factors like global pressure belt, prevailing wind system, topography, air mass and front, vegetation cover, location and distance from sea, etc. Conclusion. Though most of the elements of weather and climate are discussed in brief, a detailed study is required for better understanding of each and every element. The heat budget, mechanism of heat transfer, control of temperature, etc. needs to be analyzed. Further, various types of winds like planetary, seasonal, periodical wind, etc. and their effect on weather and climate should be properly understood. Each of these elements will be discussed in later periods. Thank you.